Hello, boys and girls. Lord Hawkeye here again. Before we get into today's talk, I'd just like to state for the record, yes, I'm aware someone made a video called Lord Hawkeye's Own Fail, and I'm not going to bother linking to it because it's really not worth your time. It's 12 minutes where he basically just restates all the assertions I've already addressed time and time again, but he continues to ignore because it's not what he wants to hear. Let's see, accuses me of straw manning when in fact I quoted him word for word. Yeah, 'cause straw man is a magic I win button. I've seen the adults do it all the time. Herp-de-derp. Anyways, and let's see, he has ratings disabled and a lot of removed comments in the bottom. I'll let you arrive at your own conclusions from there. But anyways, on to the show. It's a little something I call the true cost of free. Now, this is not going to be pleasant to think about, but people need to hear it. Now, tell me, if someone offers you something for free, what is the question that any reasonable, intelligent person would ask? What's the catch? We ask this because we know nobody gives something for free. Everything we do, we're expecting to gain something from it. It could be money, it could be respect, it could be the satisfaction of a job well done. Whatever. Everything we do for our own self-interest in some capacity or another. Now, that's not a bad thing. It's what keeps us going. But it's an important question to ask, because if you don't ask what the cost is, it tends to catch up on you. Now, what I mean by this is, people like to tell me, oh, we get free healthcare, we get free schools, we get free roads, all this free stuff, yay! And I have just one question for you. Where's it come from? I mean, are you saying that governments can create wealth from nothing? If that's the case, why does poverty still exist? Or better yet, how could governments possibly be in debt if they're that good with money? And believe me, they're not that good with money. These are the same people who can't balance a budget to save their lives, so I don't know where people would get an idea like that. So we know they're not that good with money, and we know they can't make wealth out of thin air, so I ask you again, where's that money come? Where is all that coming from? Oh, from the rich, they say. No, I'm sorry, that's not enough. You could tax the rich for everything they have, and it wouldn't put a dent in all these entitlement programs. So, where's it coming from? For the NHS, for the roads, for the army, for all this supposed free stuff, where's this coming from? From your taxes? Okay, so they took money from you and used it to pay for something. So all they really did was give themselves a monopoly on it. They didn't really give you anything. They just forced you to buy from them and not from someone else if you so desired. So once again, how are you better off here? Because they do it better? How do you know? How do you know? They don't allow anyone to compete with them. Give up? Well, let me tell you. Let's say the people who support them, socialized healthcare and all that stuff, let's say you're right. Let's say you are getting more out of it than what you're paying in taxes. Let's say it overall is a good deal for you. Let's just pretend, let's suspend reality for a second and say they don't skim off the top, say they're not, all their corporate buddies aren't taking a cut. Let's say the hidden cost is really where they start gouging you. Let's pretend all that's not true. Let's pretend that you really are getting more out of it than what you're paying in. That still begs the question, where's that money coming from? You know they can't make it out of thin air, so where's it coming from? The answer is not pleasant, I'm afraid, so you might want to brace yourself. You know your governments are in debt. You know this. You can't pretend you don't know that. Now, what does that mean exactly? These programs all consistently run in the red. They all cost more than what the taxes are bringing in. So they go into debt. And what does that mean? It means that as the debt increases, more and more taxes go towards paying it off and paying off the deficit. Paying off the interest, rather, sorry. So, what the debt you're racking up now is effectively going to be paid by the next generation. Are you starting to see this? What I'm getting at here? So when you say that, and I mean, why do you think banks have gotten so powerful now? Because you got all this free stuff by effectively having the government borrow from them on your behalf. So now that the banks can threaten to sever the credit line and basically crash all your entitlement programs, well, of course they're going to throw that power around. Why wouldn't they? I'm pretty sure anyone with you would do the same. And I mean, I'm not a fan of the banks on that behalf, but to say that they're the sole villains of this story, I'm afraid you're not getting off like that easy. So, you run up all this debt, and who pays for it? The next generation pays for it. So when you add all this together, when you say you're getting free health care, what you really mean is you're having the government effectively steal it from your children and grandchildren and give it to you. So, shall I spell it out for you? Your free health care and all your free entitlements are just stolen from your children and grandchildren. Yeah? I'm sorry, that's how it is. You can't deny it. You know this is true. So I gotta say, this has got to be the thing that bugs me the most about statists, and particularly those of the liberal variety these days. I mean, these people will go on and mule and cry and whine and gripe about capitalist exploitation, oh noes! And yet, when their government says to them, "Hey, want free stuff that you get to leave your kids with the bill with?" they totally jump on it without a second thought. And I mean, if that's not exploitation of the foulest kind, I don't know what is. I mean, come on, stealing from children and the unborn. You name me the worst, most vile, most immoral company you can. I don't think even they would ever stoop to that kind of level. I don't. They think, because as I've said before, these entitlement programs are not sustainable. You cannot just go into debt forever and expect there to be no ill consequence from this. So, as I've asked before, and as everyone continues to refuse to answer, what's going to happen when the credit line does get severed, and now you can't defer the payment anymore, and the generation is just left completely in the cold. They got a huge debt and no entitlements at all. I mean, if that's the kind of legacy that you're okay with leaving behind, all right, fine and dandy, but at the very least, can you stop trying to dress up your activity like it's some kind of Robin Hood crusade? Because it isn't. It's nothing more than preying on those who are least able to influence the government. I mean, and that's how it works, isn't it? I mean, you complain about corporations using the government to prey on you, but then you, in turn, use the government to prey on people who are even less able to influence the government. That being the young and the unborn, people who don't even get votes, so they have utterly no way to defend themselves. I mean, people call this charity? I mean, cripes. Stealing from people who are utterly unable to fight back and being shielded from any ill consequence or even moral implications for it. To me, that is nothing short of the perfect crime. Unbelievable. And that's my little rant for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, be aware and be wise.